This is from DraftKings.com. And win total 9.5. There is no in between. You got to pick it, and people want to take part in the message board. Do it now. Win total 9.5. First down. Heck yeah, no way.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Schedule's easier than it was last year. Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. I don't think this is difficult. I think it would be very difficult at 10.5. I don't think it would be that difficult at 10.5. But I think this is a heck yeah. I think this is again second year in a row one of I think the easier bets when it comes to preseason. We'll look at the entire SEC before it's all said and done. All right, would you take the Vols at plus 2,800 to win the national title? Those are the 12th best odds in the nation. I think I just created a list. Heck yeah, no way.
Heck yeah. I'm not saying they're going to win the national title, but these odds are great. Look, Penn State has better odds at plus 2,500 than Tennessee. Texas has better odds at plus 2,500 than Tennessee. Notre Dame has better odds at plus 2,500 than Tennessee. Those are, if those can be at 2,500, I think Tennessee at 2,800 is a pretty good bet. And the worst of all of these, by the way, by far the worst, Florida State with the 7th best odds at plus 1,800. That's the stupidest odds ever.
Help me with that. I do not get that. I'm going to go no way. I'm not going to go. I think they lost their best player in Darnell Wright overall, and they have a quarterback issue. The defense is still not solidified. So I'm going to go no way. I don't think there's any way the Vols win the national title this year. So I would turn down the plus 2,800. If this were a playoff year, this would be one of the teams that I would jump on. Okay. There are like 2 or 3 that are in that periphery at the plus 2,500, which again means if you bet 100, you win 2,500. There are 2 or 3 that I would put there, and this would be one of them if there were a 12-team playoff. But there's not this year, so I think this would be asking a lot with what Tennessee has to replace. All right.
Aren't you working on this long-term project featuring a team that lost their quarterback and lost their best player, and then what did they happen to do the next year?
Yes. Celebrate 98. Yes, that's a good point. every once in a while. I love how, Caleb's like the hockey guy. Every once in a while he checks me against the boards, which I need. That's a great point. And at plus 2,800, it's not like it's even money. So yeah, I would think about it. All right. But I'm going to go no way for now because there's no middle ground. That was second down. Third down. Would you take Joe Milton plus 2,000? Heck yeah, no way to win the Heisman.
No, absolutely not. And those are tied for the 9th best Heisman odds. No, I would not.
I would go no way as well, but I'm going to play the other side. Hendon Hooker got in the mix and would have gone to New York as a finalist. So I think that behind the scenes, guys, they've culled some Heisman voters that haven't been sending in their votes for a decade and that may be selling insurance or doing something else. So they've cut some of the numbers down. So I think the voting's slightly better. I don't think it was last year, but so I'll play the other side and go, heck yeah. I think Joe Milton, if you want to drop 100 on that to win 2,000, is not a horrible bet because people will be watching Tennessee's offense. They weren't watching Tennessee's offense in May of 2022 and then into September of 2022, but they'll be watching. So he doesn't have the preseason Heisman hype as a player, but Tennessee does as a team. So I'll go, heck yeah, I'll drop 100 on that.
But Dave, they're going to hold him back a little. People who are going to watch now are going to be a little disappointed because we've talked about they're going to change their offensive philosophy a little bit this year. They're going to focus a little bit more on moving the ball because one of Dylan Sampson, but 2, Joe Milton's better at throwing over the middle and less on the deep shots, which Hendon Hooker, you take those deep shots as much as possible with Hooker because of his arm and how accurate he was. Joe Milton has a bigger arm, but isn't as good on the deep ball.
Well, but now wait a second, brother. I think they're gonna change their philosophy a little bit, but I think it's like going from an Audi to a BMW. I mean, they're not going to go from an Audi to a Chrysler.
Okay, all right, fair enough. I'm just saying. I think you're going to see some more long drives. I think people are going to want to see what they saw with Hooker last year, and they're not going to see that. You're not going to see 5 touchdown passes against Alabama. I don't think you're going to see that.
Okay, well, I'm going to go. I'm going to go. Heck yeah. I would take this. All right. So, and then the last one I made up myself. and this is not according to DraftKings or anybody else. Tennessee to finish at the end of the season, end of the regular season, because I don't really count bowl games until we get in the playoff. And then I've thought about this. I'm going to adjust the way I judge teams completely. But Tennessee to finish sixth or better. So I've got 6.5 in the rankings, in the CFP rankings at the end of the year. That's fourth down. Do you take the Vols to finish higher or lower? And I'm going to give myself some credit. I think I kind of nailed a pretty good number there.
Okay, you did 6.5.
Did you like it? 6.5.
I like it.
Thank you. You're the gambling guy. I didn't know if it's any good or not, to be honest with you.
I'm gonna go lower. And here's why. There's gonna be two.
As in lower, you mean seventh or
worse. There's gonna be two SEC teams finish higher than them. I think. I think they'll be the third best. They'll have the third best finish in the SEC. There's going to be an ACC team by default because they played in the ACC finish higher than them. And there's going to be two Big Ten teams finish higher than them. And probably one Big 12 team, again, by default because they play in the Big 12. It's going to finish
So are you getting into a little bit of the politics of it by two other SEC teams, or are you just stacking teams?
I'm stacking teams. Okay, so I think that, again, even though they're playing at home, I think they're losing to Georgia this year. I do. I think Tennessee's still going to lose to Georgia at home this year. Georgia's going to finish higher than them. Y'all are going to just call me Caleb, Brian, Kelly, but LSU's going to finish higher than them too because I'm so high on LSU. So Tennessee doesn't play LSU this year, but I think LSU and Georgia both finish higher than Tennessee. They will finish higher than Alabama, though. Heard it here first.
Okay. Well, then, okay, so you're going to say take the no way. I'm going to say, heck yeah, I think they'll finish sixth or higher. And I think it'll be sixth, which is why I put the number at 6.5. So, again, you've got and this is not the Georgia. I just want to clarify to everybody. This is not the Georgia team that went into 2022 that I knew from my sources had incredible talent. They lacked some motivation throughout the season, but that they weren't going to take a step down in talent from their first national championship team. I knew that. This Georgia team is not that. They're not just reloading. Okay. So I think Tennessee could potentially upset Georgia. But as it pertains to this query, I don't know that Georgia is going to finish as high as they have recently. So I don't know that Tennessee will need to beat Georgia to finish sixth or better. And they have respect going in that they didn't have before. So I'll say, heck yeah.
Do you think they have a better shot at Alabama or at home against Georgia this year?
Alabama.
Even on the road, I agree. Alabama on the road, they have a better shot at Alabama.
But I always use this terminology. If they played 10 times, how many times would they win? I think based off what I'm hearing from Alabama and Alabama fans, you're going to call me crazy and this crazy Tennessee fan, which I'm not. I'm objective. But I think they have a 50-50 shot to beat Alabama on the road. I think that they have a 30% chance of beating Georgia at home. Is that fair?
I'm totally with you on that. I'm totally with you. And by the way, we're objective in the sense of I think on a neutral field, 10 times Tennessee beats Alabama 6 times this year. Honestly, on a neutral field. Last year in Neyland Stadium, I think Alabama would have won 6 times, and that was one of those 4 times Tennessee did it when they beat Alabama. Yeah. I think Alabama was the better team last year. But
I think Tennessee pushed Alabama around up front. I thought at halftime that Tennessee could be up 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, they did push Alabama around up front, but Alabama had the best quarterback in college football last year, and quarterbacks can be the great neutralizer. And as good as Hendon Hooker was, let me be clear, Bryce Young was better in that game. I mean, he was.
He was the best player on the field, and Will Anderson decided he wanted to be on the side of a milk carton. For those that don't know, that's where they used to put lost kids. All right, Zulbeer.com, xulbeer.com. Some of the things I use are dated. Maybe they should start doing that on the side of beer cans or our Tennessee Cider Company.
That's got to be your go-to. Like whenever someone doesn't show up in the NBA playoffs, Stephen A says there's an APB out for him. Now you can just be like, he's on the side of a milk carton.
Do you remember getting those milk cartons as a kid? And you'd be at lunch at school and you'd be like, oh man, poor Johnny Bob. I wonder if anybody's found him yet. Yeah, I'll take another pizza. Piece of pizza. Good luck, Johnny Bob. That's terrible.